After a lot of back and forth and delays, the Menendez brothers will get their resentencing hearing next week. Fox 11's Christina Gonzalez was in court in Van Nuys with all the developments today. Christina, weren't they trying to get the DA removed from this case?
Yes, but Garagos actually withdrew that motion, saying he just doesn't want to delay this anymore. So yes, a hearing next week, 2 days, and there's going to be elements of that parole report assessment. We already heard bits of it, and some of it's nice, some of it isn't. Take a look.
We have the utmost faith in Judge Jessic to do the right thing, that next Wednesday or Tuesday that they will be resentenced.
Erik and Lyle Menendez will finally get the resentencing hearing they've been fighting for and the chance for a lesser sentence than the life in prison without the possibility of parole they got for the 1989 murders of their parents, Jose and Kitty Menendez. Today in court, Mark Garagos withdrew his motion to remove the district attorney's office from the case, even as he accused LA County DA Nathan Hochman of using the PR firm he used in his campaign to attack the Menendez family.
They said that I had hired a firm for hundreds of thousands of dollars. They identified that firm as Lag Strategy in order to put anti-Menendez messaging out there in the community. What they would have found out is that firm was hired during my campaign. It had nothing to do with the Menendezes. That firm hasn't worked for me since the campaign.
Appearing in court personally, Hochman focused on telling the judge the Menendez brothers, who were listening to the court proceedings via WebEx, had been caught violating prison rules like smuggling cell phones. Paraphrasing from a parole board comprehensive risk assessment investigating if the brothers would be a threat if released.
The psychologists looked at that and they said if someone is willing to risk engaging in a rule violation while they're actually involved in a resentencing, what does that say about their risk of conforming to the standards of the law if they are released outside of this structured environment?
That does not make sense. That is not a rational argument. So to those people, I would say, I understand your concern. I would urge them to look at the bigger picture to see that they have already paid a huge debt to society and that they are ready for that second chance.
And you could actually see the brothers kind of cringing when they were reading from that report, because like at one point they were talking about Erik and saying, the psychologist, that he shows narcissistic, sometimes antisocial kinds of emotions and so forth. Again, some of these things are not going to be positive. And that is probably why Garagos is not telling us if the brothers are going to testify. I don't know that he wants them there to listen to all this, but we know at least 7 family members will be there. And of course, so will we. I'm Christina Gonzalez, live in Van Nuys. Back to you in the studio.
Watching Garagos there at the podium, he talked about super strikes and saying the brothers didn't commit super strikes. What was meant by that?
Well, what it means, like they brought up the cell phones, that they've smuggled in cell phones. That's not a super strike. And what the judge is looking for is that they have not done super strikes, which, to make it simple, to quote Garagos, is one of the 7 sins, deadly sins. That they didn't kill somebody, that they don't belong to a gang, that they haven't had violent behavior. Quite the opposite. They have been very much involved in rehabilitation and programs against sex abuse and all kinds of things. And that is what Garagos is saying the judge should consider and concentrate on, not this other stuff like the cell phones or, but we'll see, because parts of that report are going to be read in those hearings, and that's going to be interesting. We didn't expect them to sneak in what they did today. That whole thing about the cell phones and being a narcissist and not accounting for his actions. That doesn't mean he hasn't done great things or he shouldn't be released or whatever, according to the family. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens next week.
You got to expect the pro and the con at that hearing. All right, well, more to come next week. Christina, thanks.